A warm-up can quietly steal your power before you ever touch the bar or start the clock. A lone athlete moves through slow, heavy static holds as the stadium lights rise, then explodes out of the blocks and feels flat. What if the routine you trust is the very thing blunting your best performance? This is the story of the warm-up that kills performance, and how to fix it. We'll define what a warm-up is actually supposed to do, show where well-meaning habits go wrong, and give you a simple, sport-agnostic blueprint you can apply today. The aim is not fear, it's clarity. Why now? Because the old model-long static stretches and random drills still lingers in gyms, tracks, and studios. Modern evidence points to targeted temperature, rehearsal of patterns, and the right nervous system state. By the end, you'll know exactly which pieces to keep, which to move to later, and how to build a 5-minute primer that makes you feel fast, springy, and safe. For decades, pre-activity stretching meant deep holds. It felt good, looked disciplined, and seemed logical. Lengthen the muscle, prevent a pull. Early 2000s strength and conditioning studies, however, began reporting immediate dips in jump height and sprint speed after long static holds performed right before explosive tasks. In the 2010s, reviews and meta-analyses refined the nuance. Brief, low-intensity static holds were mostly harmless, but longer or harder holds could acutely reduce peak power for some tasks. Meanwhile, dynamic patterning marches, skips, quick squats, light bounds better matched the nervous system's ready-to-move state. Coaches shifted to warm-ups that looked like the work to come. Today, best practice is simple. Prime the system with dynamic, task-specific movement. Save long static or deep end-range work for after the session or a separate slot. And sequence activation and breath so the body feels organized. Not sedated. The enemy isn't stretching. The enemy is timing. Card A. Acute performance. Longer prevents static stretching. 60 plus per muscle group at moderate high intensity can cause small but meaningful reductions in jump height, peak force, and sprint metrics. In powered tasks, shorter holds usually have trivial effects that may be fine if followed by dynamic activation. Card B. Temperature and viscosity. A proper warm-up raises muscle temperature and improves joint fluid behavior, speeding nerve conduction and making tissues feel more springy. Dynamic drills plus gradual intensity are consistently linked to better immediate outputs than stretching alone. Card C. Specificity. Rehearsing the pattern you're about to perform, e.g., pogo contacts before plyometrics, a march, a skip before runs, tempo squats before lifting tunes, the exact neuromuscular circuits you need within minutes. Card D. Flexibility over time. Static stretching is still excellent for increasing range of motion when done consistently across weeks. The most reliable gains come from total weekly time and position, not from cramming it into the 2 minutes before max effort. Card injury context. No warm-up is a guarantee against injury, but dynamic, progressive primers that include patterning and intensity ramping are associated with better readiness and fewer early session cold mistakes. Stretching is a piece of tissue tolerance, just not the whole puzzle. Some athletes swear by a brief static hold on a sticky area before they move. They feel safer and cleaner afterward. Others report any static pre-work dulls their pop. Both can be true. The variables: how long the hold is, how intense it feels, how soon after you're asking for max output, and your training age. The literature shows averages. Your body is a specific case. 2 gaps remain: the exact dose response in different sports, and how breath, intent, and sequencing modulate the effects. Early signals suggest that if you insist on a short static time, following it with crisp dynamic patterning largely offsets any temporary break. But if you're about to sprint, jump, or lift heavy in the next 2 to 5 minutes, dynamic first is the safer bet. Picture the rec league sprinter who jogs a lap, then sits into a deep hamstring hold for 90 seconds. They stand, shake out the legs, and blast the first rep only to feel heavy and slow. They didn't fail. They just asked their nervous system for relaxation right before asking for max aggression. Reversing the order often changes the day. Now, consider the desk-bound lifter. They arrive stiff, Shoulders rounded, hips asleep. A 5-minute primer of breathing to find ribs, light hinge pulses, banded rows, and tempo squat switches on the patterns they'll actually use. The first working set feels like the third. Confidence replaces caution. Finally, think of the dancer who needs end-range control. Dynamic rehearsal at the start. Skill in the middle. Static as a calm finisher or a separate evening ritual. Desequencing respects both craft and physiology. Feeling open is no longer at odds with feeling ready. Use 2 metaphors. First, switches versus dimmers. A good warm-up is a series of light switches on toward. The demand, temperature, rhythm, pattern, intent. Long static holds are dimmers. They lower the room's brightness for deeper relaxation. Both are useful, but not in the same minute. Second, language class. Dynamic work is conversational, quick phrases you'll use immediately. Static work is grammar study, slow rules that make you fluent over weeks. You wouldn't open an exam with a 20-minute grammar meditation. You'd review verb forms the day before and speak quickly in the moment. Apply the same logic to your body. We're not saying never stretch. We're saying don't sedate the system before asking it to sprint. Dynamic, pattern as specific primers. Light up the circuits you need now. Static, team under position work, expands your options later. What's still evolving is the perfect recipe for each sport, but the direction of travel is clear. Scenario 1, power day, high confidence, 3, menos 5 minutes. Todo. Start easy, then build. Joint pulses, marching, skip patterning, short contacts, pugo or ankle hops. 2 controlled reps of your main pattern at submax speed, then go. If you are a problem area, do a 15 to 30 second gentle hold, then immediately follow with an active drill for the same muscle. Scenario 2, strength day, high confidence. 4 to 6 minutes, breath to find ribs and brace, hinge pulses for posterior chain, band pulley pots for upper back, 2 tempo squats. Presses, keep the first working set submax to complete the ramp. Save longer static holds for after the last set or later that evening. Scenario 3, skill and endurance, day medium high confidence. 5 to 7 minutes, rhythm and cadence, first metronome steps, marches. Then pattern rehearsal drills that look like your session. Then 1 or 2 short efforts at session pace. If flexibility is a monthly priority, schedule separate 10-minute static blocks on off day. The warm-up that kills performance isn't evil, it's just out of order. Ask your body to wake up before you ask it to relax deeply, not the other way around. Put dynamic, specific motion first. Place long, static work after or elsewhere. Do this consistently, and flat starts turn to confident openings, with fewer cold mistakes and better numbers across the board. If you're ready to swap guesswork for a 5-minute plan,